This Saturday, October 23rd, broadcast on Espn, WBO World Featherweight Champion Jamel Herring will get a chance to legitimize his championship reign as he takes on challenger Shakur Stevenson. Let's talk about it.
So that'll give him a bit of energy. Yeah. Oh! That's good night! And it's all over!
When you talk about world championships being defended and challenged, there is nothing more interesting and compelling than seeing two combatants vie for the position of best, even when you have a veteran who's reigning and a young upstart who's looking to take over. This will be the tale of Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson as they face one another this Saturday, October 23rd, broadcast on ESPN, ESPN Plus. This is the type of fight where you have two men who are of differing types of personality and fighting styles. A lot of times this could be intriguing enough to draw something out of one of the men that no one knew was there. This fight will be contested for the WBO Junior Lightweight Championship. Jamel Herring is currently the champion. Shakur Stevenson, who was a champion before, but gave up that opportunity to challenge for a more meaningful opportunity against a veteran opponent. This will be a showcase for both men, and either man can come out on top. But as we look into it, we will discover exactly why the viewing audience and boxing fans should be tuning in to this fight. Shakur Stevenson enters this fight at the age of 24 years old, and he's a young man who's 5'7" with a 68-inch reach at the super featherweight division. Entering this bout with a record of 16-0 and 8 KOs, Stevenson looks the part of the future of the division in boxing at super featherweight. But will he be able to deliver? It remains to be seen. There have been numerous fighters throughout the history of the sport who have looked the part, who had so much promise in front of them, and who seemed ready to have the proverbial baton passed to them. But somewhere along the way, a distraction, a bad choice, even taking a bad fight has derailed the hopes of many young guys who had stardust ahead of them. Will Shakur fall subject and prey to this? We don't know. We hope that he's ready. We look forward to seeing what he has to offer. But when he steps in the ring this Saturday, he's going to be taking on Jamel Herring, a veteran champion who enters this fight with a record of 23-2 11 KOs of his own. Semper Fi is his nickname, and the former Marine, who's now retired from the Marines, will be looking to show the young upstart what a real champion and veteran can do. His last loss was in 2017, where he lost a unanimous decision to Ladarius Miller. That fight taught Herring something about the sport, and since then, he had gone on to defeat various subjects at the weight class, but he is coming off his most important win, a victory in April of this year against Carl Frampton. The Frampton victory was something that many people who had their doubts about Herring seemed to hold over his head until he was able to stop Frampton in the 6th round of their fight. Herring looked the best he ever had, and he looked like a man who had been rededicated, reinvigorated, knowing that the opportunity to not only make better financial moves, but also greater esteem and legacy in the sport with his victory over Hampton. In steps Stevenson, now as the next opponent, next title defense, next man up, who can provide something more to add to the legacy. This is going to be a very good matchup. Their styles are contrasting, and both are southpaws. It will be interesting and beneficial for the experiences of their past, both with amateur and professional approaches, how their styles will offset one another in facing a fellow southpaw. For Herring, who has a good jab, he has an even better, devastating left uppercut. He appears to be the man who will be able to try to set traps for Shakur. Shakur has great hand speed, and he looks to give and provide his opponents with speed and angles. He has pretty damn good defense, and he knows how to punch in combinations. But will he let his hands go against this veteran? I'm hoping that he doesn't enter this match thinking that he will just be able to overpower Herring, because he could run into something. Will Shakur look to dictate the tempo? That will be another compelling insight. He has the youth, the agility, the foot movement and footwork that could possibly put himself in a better position of being in and out, moving around. I hope that he doesn't look to just hunt down Herring and look to overpower him. That's not the fight for him in this fight. He's going to have to use his youthfulness and his speed and the angles. Herring will be better in this fight to box from the basic technique of boxing. Shooting the jab, hooking off the jab, working in body shots, and taking the younger Shakur Stevenson to school. Herring is 35, but he's not an old 35, simply because of what he's gone through in his personal life. He is an in-shape individual. Mental conditioning may be his problem in this fight. If he doesn't feel that he is in Shakur's league, he's going to have problems. But Shakur has reflected externally that he is confident about his chances here, but that could be whistling in the wind. You see, sometimes when you talk and you bark, you do that to cover up or overcompensate for something that's not there. Am I accusing Shakur of having something not there and not having substance? Absolutely not. But he is young, and he may be just trying to promote the fight. He may be trying to get into Herring's mind psychologically, But Herring is quiet during this entire process. And you have to be careful when someone is being quiet, because sometimes they may be calculating and may have cunning to meet with your bravado. As far as the technique of the two men, they both have great offensive weapons, but who will be able to impose? The person who has the underlying confidence. And we can't say what that will be until that first bell rings, because both men reflect a quiet confidence externally. But when they perform in their matches, the way that they enter in is how that we see what's happening with them on the inside. When Stevenson got in there against Joet Gonzalez, he was able to show Gonzalez defense, he was able to show him offense to a unanimous decision in October of 2019. He totally took Gonzalez apart. And as we saw Gonzalez's recent performance against Navarrete, we saw that he still had a lot left. So it was a separation of talent between he and Stevenson that allowed Stevenson to really shine and make Gonzalez look like he wasn't in Stevenson's league. But I have to say this, Jamel Herring is no Joet Gonzalez. He's a veteran of the military. He had life circumstances show him what being on the brink is all about. And the way he handled Frampton was a lot similar to how I expect he to enter this fight. He's going to be dedicated, he's going to be focused, and he will look to capitalize on any mistake that Stevenson makes. So Stevenson had better be careful. What is the final outlook of this? Stevenson, who has aspirations to be a world champion again, is looking to come out as a conqueror, and this is a named fighter to get it done against. He is going to come in and try to outshine Jamel Herring. Herring, on the other hand, is a fighter who is now fighting for a little bit more than what the average champion will be fighting for. It's not necessarily about the money for him, as Shakur is getting the lion's share here, but to understand that to come out of this fight with victory is what's going to be most meaningful, because his legacy will stand head and shoulders above where it presently is if he were to remain victorious in a title defense. I am going to pick Jamel Herring by close majority decision here. I hope that he is able to perform up to his talents and that he is able to have a few tricks up his sleeves for Stevenson. This is Stormy B, man. Shout out to the LDBC, Lions Den Boxing Community, and Liberated Perspective. For more content like this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is all I have for you at this time. Let me know what your thoughts are about this fight and how intriguing it will be. We'll be tuning in. Until the next time we meet, everyone remain safe, take care of one another, peace, and enjoy